Toledo.
Welcome back to Car Performance. Today we have something special you guys have been asking for. The 459cc engine swap from Harbor Freight. Now in this video, we go in depth on removal and installation as well as driving and ride-alongs on the car. So if you find anything useful in this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks.
Here she is.
Holy Toledo. We got here today, Rusty.
We've got a Predator 459.
All right, what are the specs on this thing? Was it better than the 420? Is it less cool than the 670? Let me know.
I believe it's going to be more reliable than the 670 and a little bit cooler than the 420. So this is going to have 15.8 horsepower at 3,600 RPM. Max RPM, they say, is 3,800. Other than that, basically all the stats, they're pretty close to the same. I think really the bore size is pretty close. I think the rod's a little longer. That's how they get the bigger boom.
Okay, so
first, we gotta get the old junk.
You gotta tell them what you got.
you gotta direct.
Tell them yourself a 1988 Club Car DS with a Kawasaki 350 KF82 flathead motor in it. Now chances are your motor is on the verge of not operating the way it should be. And therefore, you're gonna wanna get yourself this kit possibly.
Okay.
Before we can get this 459 in there, we have to get this old, worn out thing out of here.
All right.
Yeah. So the first thing we're gonna do, go ahead and pull the drive belt off right down here. Pretty easy. Voila.
Okay.
Step one done. Carburetor has already been removed.
Who cares?
We don't care about that thing. This is your linkage nonsense.
Nobody cares. Are we gonna be able to reuse this cradle?
So the kit comes with a different, it's just like the last on the 420 we did. It's got the plate and it'll be able to slide side to side, back and forth.
Gotcha, slide it.
Yeah.
Not everybody's seen that video though, you know.
This is true. So this is the kit you get from Vegas Car Parts. So this is your motor plate. This is what you install in replace of the motor plate that is in the cart. Folds in here, and you can slide it like that. And the motor bolts here, and you can slide it like that, you know.
Okay.
Exhaust.
Sweet.
This is your piece.
Adapter exhaust piece.
Yep, that goes on there. They use the factory 459 muffler.
A parts accessory kit with hardware, some tubes, a cob.
Fuel line.
Some kind of
belt.
throttle cable. Okay, and you're gonna go ahead and install this stuff?
Yep, this is for your clutch, exhaust, motor mount. We don't use bolts. Right, so next, we'll go ahead and get the this throttle cable out of the way, because the kit comes with a new throttle cable. So we don't need any of this. So we'll get it out of here. This is our pulse line that is hooked up to our fuel pump. We're gonna keep the pulse line itself, but we need it disconnected from the engine. We'll probably put new fuel lines on it when we do put the new engine. These are old and crusty. Our pulse line still seems to be pretty good, so we'll hang on to that for now. Take it off from the motor here. Just pull that off. Like so, tuck them out of the way. All right, we'll go up in the air with it now and see what we can get at from underneath. All right, so now that we're underneath, there's some wiring we need to unplug that's attached to the chassis. This is your low oil sensor here on the old motor. Won't really work on the new motor, so we'll get him out of the way, tuck him up. So now, the next step we're gonna do, the exhaust is already off of the engine up top. But the easiest way to get this exhaust out of the way is to take these two bolts off, then you slide it forward and you sneak it out the back. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now you should be able to push this forward. Oh, it's off the engine now. Out with the old. Now that that's out of the way, we're gonna take our 1/2-inch bolt that holds our starter generator on. Way up there, we'll take that out. That'll loosen so we can get the starter generator belt off, and then we're actually going to remove the starter generator from the engine before taking the engine out. It makes it a lot easier.
Is it easier to get to it from the underside?
It is. Oh, there goes the nut. There goes the bolt. We're going to go ahead and just take the motor mount bolts out. That way we can kind of maneuver the motor around a little bit from up top and hopefully get that starter generator out easy.
You got your fuel line off, your throttle cable out, you got your ground line off, your primary bolt off, and now your starter generator bolts are out.
Correct, and we got our exhaust out. So now we should be able to kind of wiggle the motor a little bit.
By a little bit, he means completely.
So you got your electrical connector back under here. So your coil, you can unplug that. Then you have a few wires still on the starter generator here. So you're gonna take this one off that's connected to the body, and that one off that's connected to the body. So this one, and the one up here. If you don't have a back seat kit, it makes this job a lot easier because you can just get at it through this panel here. But with the back seat kit, it's not as easy. Oh, and we do have one more wire on the back side. Really can't see it, unfortunately. I promise it's there. All right, so we have our cart wiring all separated from the engine now. So we don't have anything holding us back there. Oh, a little spicy. Battery's still got juice. So now,
Right. Can we pull the motor now?
no, we can't. We have one more thing. We gotta get the starter generator all the way out.
Oh my god.
2 more bolts, and then I'm pretty sure she'll come out. Woo! More stuff not needed. Now,
Can we pull
you
the
feeling
motor?
strong? You feeling strong, Nick? There she goes. Big girl is out. You got it? Voila. So, this is your motor plate. Right there, motor plate. We gotta get rid of it. 9/16. You don't need any of this. I'm gonna come back down now, set the motor plate in. You gotta remember which way it goes. So this is your motor plate here. This is what goes in replace of what we just took out. That way she goes. So it goes that way. This is your hardware to secure it to the frame. So in this kit, it comes with 4 of these bigger style bolts and 2 of these smaller style bolts. I'm not exactly sure what these are for, but these are what hold your motor plate down. What we're looking at here is this bolt hole, figuring out why this one doesn't want to line up.
Okay, so explain what's going on here, bud.
All right, so when Vegas Carts made this motor plate, they didn't quite weld it square, plus it's a little off. So we got to make some adjustments with the grinder.
Okay.
So I'm marking it right now where we're having the issue. And basically what we're gonna do is just notch it. All right, to the grinder we go. All right, so we have taken and notched our motor plate on both sides so that hopefully we can get the bolts in there. All right, now will it slide? And it does. This is important for your belt alignment, which you'll see later on once we have the engine in. So for now, I actually leave these bolts loose. That way, once the motor is set in, we can align and adjust to make sure our belt is square in the secondary. All right. Now we gotta prep the engine.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So normally on a 420, there'd be a key switch here. On this, it just has a start button. Other than that, I mean, pretty much the same engine. This is the oil sensor on this engine. And on the 420, the oil sensor comes out of the front here. A couple little differences, but other than that, it seems the same. So we'll start off by taking our fuel tank off, and then we'll work on the airbox and the exhaust. All right, so now that we have removed the exhaust, the fuel tank, and our airbox, we're going to start putting on the rest of the pieces that our kit came with. First, this is our pulse for the fuel pump. Since we're not using the fuel tank once again on top of the engine, we'll go ahead and install this back behind the carburetor. And then we'll see if our studs are the right length for the pieces we have. Okay. Pulse for the fuel pump. So just for test fit purposes, we're going to use this. Normally we would use the Honda choke cable actuator, but we just want to get it mocked up. Did not come with the studs, so hopefully the Honda choke piece is the same size. This bracket is for your throttle cable. It bolts onto the front of the engine here. We're going to go ahead and pull our exhaust studs out now. Get these out of the way, because we have factory bolts we're going to put back. Some people like to grab these with vice grips and back them out. I don't like to do that. I like to keep them, use them for other projects. So I use the old jam nuts, two nuts together, back them out.
Okay, great. So we got a throttle, our little intake, our tubey thing, our exhaust, a springy thing. It's all set up. So now the next step is putting it in the cop.
Yes, sir. Lower the cart back down.
What's the first step?
So the first step now, we're going to go ahead and get the engine bolted to the motor plate.
Okay.
And then after that, we'll work on aligning the primary.
All right, cool.
Yeah, send her up. Taking the bolts out of our, so these are actually threaded. And these sit in the engine. So instead of having to use a nut through the motor plate, this sits on top of the engine. This goes through the motor plate and bolts it down.
Okay, I got that.
Plus it adds a little bit of strength.
Surface area on
Right.
the actual motor.
Exactly, so it really cinches it down good. Keeps it from wanting to walk around.
Actually, they sit on top of this area right here.
Yep. Right in here, just like this. Maybe. There she goes. We won't tighten these bolts yet either until we get the belt on. Then we can adjust the belt. Basically, we just want them in so it's not gonna fall out on us or move around, so that we can kind of get all of the other things plumbed, like your fuel, your throttle cable, your other accessories. Yeah, we'll go back down with it after this.
Sheesh. Oh, hey.
Oh.
Hey. That's what you look like when you're looking at it. When a motor's looking at you, this is what,
This is what it sees?
Yeah, you
Oh,
like
great.
This thing looks pretty sweet in here.
It does look sweet. Alrighty, so next up, we're gonna go ahead and plumb our fuel system. So this is your pulse line here, pulse for the fuel pump. So we're gonna plumb that back to the fuel pump. This is your fuel line for the carburetor. So we're gonna plumb that into here. And we're gonna redo this line as well out of the tank. It's hard, it doesn't wanna move, so it's probably no good anymore. Don't want a cracked fuel line to be the reason we have issues. Use a clear fuel line we got from Performance Car Parts, from Vegas Car Parts, Vegas Car Parts, whatever, same thing. We're the Performance, they're the parts. All right. Oh, actually, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and cut it. Put our fuel filter in.
Enunciate.
We're gonna cut it, put our fuel filter in here. I like to filter right out of the tank so that you don't get any crud going through your fuel pump. Out of the tank is done.
This one to the carburetor?
This one is to the carburetor, yes sir. And actually, I think how we're gonna do this on this one, since this wants to go that way, we'll take this clip off, save the clip, save the clip.
The severity of Kay's hoarding condition.
Fine, throw it all away because there's, no matter whether I bought it
These come in handy.
recently or not, just throw it away. Fine.
All right, and then we're actually gonna come back. We're gonna go under here. It's our fuel tank and fuel pump. Center, I think. I think we'll have a meet like right here. So a trick I like to do with these filters, these are cheap, is cut this off. And then you have a reducer for this small line to the bigger line. Little trick, these small lines are hard to get on there. Plus, if you use the bigger line on the carburetor, you run a risk of it leaking right here. It doesn't clamp down very tight. Softens the fuel line.
Chew it like a straw, you're saying?
Yep, it's not the greatest tasting thing in the world, but that's what you want. Plastic joints. Right.
Tighten up your fuel line real nice.
Yep, and we'll zip tie all these other fittings as well. So here and here. Next, we'll plumb the pulse. I think I'm going to run him right through here. Come back up like that. That's why I use it off. That way, so fresh. Alright. And there we have a fuel plumbed engine.
Okay. So, the throttle cable.
So the throttle cable. So actually the first step to this, we have to modify the existing throttle arm that's right here. As you can see, it's got a ball end on it.
Let me see if I got that. Okay.
As you can see, there's a ball end on there. We actually have to change the fitting. So on here, it's got a barrel style. So we have to get this bracket out, and we'll get that ball end off, and then put the throttle clamp that they gave with the kit. So the piece that came with the kit is right here. You'll end up also cutting this barrel off the end because the cable will go through the hole and clamp down with the screw. All right, so now that we got our L bracket modified to put our new barb in there, we ran the throttle cable down underneath the engine, up around the backside into here, and then you clip it. The spring guy goes there. So the next step is to actually set the throttle.
Set the throttle in the throw?
Yep. Yeah, so you can adjust. So if you don't want it as responsive, you can have you know, a longer throw to the pedal. So if you have younger drivers or something and you only want it half throttle, you can adjust it down here. Obviously this one will adjust it so that the pedal has wide open throttle. So first, cut this little dumbbell off. Exhaust next.
Exhaust?
Yes.
I'm exhausted.
It's been a long day. All right, so we have the header pipe on that we put on outside the engine that runs around back there. Now we need to put the muffler on. So you have to put this adapter on first. So we'll go ahead and slide this on to the header pipe along with our clamp that we have. And this is the factory muffler that was on there. I took the manifold that was originally on it off. I like to clock the exhaust so it points straight down. You'll see me have to roll it in there, but it'll be pointed at the ground. So that's in there like that. Got an idea. So we'll leave the clamp loose until once we get the engine all bolted in. So we'll have to shift it side to side. So we may need more clearance either way, depending on how the belt alignment. I think other than that, it needs oil and gas, and it could make noise. So it can make noise if we add fuel and oil to it, but we have added a 6-inch suspension lift for this bad unit to our 459 project here. We had to do a little bit of modifications to make the 459 kit work. We'll briefly go over that when we go up in the air with it. Basically just had to space a couple things out so we can keep the engine flat.
You did some changes to the... It looks cooler. All right.
Yeah, we made it look cooler. So the next step is going to be getting our primary and our secondary on, and we'll be able to get our engine alignment done, and then that way we can bolt the engine down so it's solid. And then after that, we'll go ahead and put our choke, cable choke on, our air filter. We're going to get it in there.
Hey, how'd you get that lift kit on that 459? With fucking magic. But the kit says specifically for lowered carts only.
Does it really say
Got
specifically for lower
performance.
carts only?
It does really say specifically for lower carts only. It does not work with lifted carts. And he'll show you why. Because we had to make some shims and this and that to make the motor sit level.
So we'll go ahead and lift the thing up in the air, see if we can sneak that primary on, hopefully without having to pull the motor back out. But I think we can get it on there with it slid over now, so lift it up, give it a shot. All right, so here with our 459 kit we got from Vegas Carts, they send you the end of the primary spacer, this fancy keyway there. We're gonna go ahead and slap this up in there. Hopefully it'll go in without us having to pull the boat up.
Speak towards me.
Yeah. All right, can we sneak in? Come on. So close. Oh. I think if we just take the motor mount bolts out,
Yeah, you can make it happen.
and just kind of tip it up, we can make it happen. During the install process of this, you are going to take the engine mount bolts in and out quite a few times, just to get everything aligned.
Tilt it up for you while you try to put that on. Then.
Oh, I got it! Woo! Now we're gonna try and get the keyway in. Which, if you look in here,
I must use my camera to do it.
all right. We'll roll this around until we find it. There it is. And that's that. So we're gonna go ahead and install this bolt with our spacer that goes into the end of the primary to hold it steady in the crank and whatnot. And then we're gonna go ahead and put some blue Loctite on the bolt so that we don't have it back out. Now we'll go ahead and tighten this bolt up. I believe it's a 9/16. All right, primary is tight. Alrighty, now hopefully for the last time, we're gonna go ahead and put our motor mount plates and bolts in and get this primary and secondary aligned. So this is our secondary clutch. Goes on the transmission back there. So this, basically the belt runs here through the primary, spins this shaft back here. This shaft is what drives your tire. You don't need to put a new one of these on when you do it. When you do the engine swap, we just found that one of these ears on the factory one that was in the cart was broken off. So we went ahead, ordered a new one so we didn't have any issues. Don't lose the keyway.
Damn, you should do that from the backside. Pull it up, put it back in.
Okay. All right, now we'll walk back here.
Oops, I just turned this off.
Okay.
No. All the stuff you do for the shot.
Now we're going to use this scale to make sure we got a good alignment from the primary to the secondary, because if these are off, the belt will you'll either have premature belt wear or the belt will just hop off. So make sure that this is perfectly aligned center with this so you don't have any belt issues. The other thing is you don't want the belt too tight here, otherwise the cart's going to want to roll or jump when it's in gear, and it's not easy to shift in and out of gear that way.
Oh, like when it's idling?
Right. Oh, actually pretty close already.
Wow, yeah.
Not bad. So now we have our scale set in. You can see it's sitting back there in the secondary. And as you see it comes up, it's riding right in the center of the primary. That's exactly what you want. So now that we've got that aligned, we'll go ahead and tighten down our motor plate. And actually, I would like to show you guys here what we did. So this kit from Vegas Karts is not for lifted karts. They don't make a lifted one. So what we had to do was make some poly spacers back here so that we could raise the engine back up so that the engine stays level. We don't want one way or the other. So we did that. We made some drop down brackets up here as well. I would like to get these made out of something else in the future if we do this again. But it's achieving what we would like to do. So now we'll go ahead and tighten this up. And then we'll put our belt on and get our adjustment there. See how this bolt's like crooked going in? Sometimes a little persuasion helps. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised how that works. How's our alignment looking? Alignment still looks good. All right, so like now that we got this all aligned, make sure you go down and hit that like, subscribe, share button. Please, please subscribe, dickhead.
No, you're like you. All right, so we got a new belt.
Belt time.
Belt time. Wow.
Belt time.
That means we're getting close.
We're getting close.
Yeah. Okay.
We're almost ready to put some oil and make some noise. Oh wow.
That fits pretty good, eh?
It's a little loose.
A little loose.
Loosey goosey. Oh, there we go. All right.
All right. So we got your belt on.
We got our belt on. And I like the tension here. You want it a little loose, like I was saying. It rolls on the primary so that when you're idling, it's not going to try and run away from you. So we'll go ahead and get these motor mount bolts tightened up, and then we're going to go back up top, see what we got. We're going to go ahead and tighten up the exhaust clamp that's right here. Now that we have our engine all bolted down, we know where it's going to live, we can tighten that up and move on to the choke next. Got a choker. Good and tight.
As the Germans would.
Good and tight. So we're gonna take this, get this spacer out of the way. Get fancy schmancy Honda one on. So this is gonna allow you to use a choke cable, like how it would normally be on a golf cart. The only trick is right there, you'll see there's a little stud. That's to stop the choke lever from moving. We actually need to get rid of that. For some people, this might be a little bit of a scary part. You stick that in there just like that. One good whack, maybe two. There she goes. And now this can move freely. And this has a return spring on it, so it won't get stuck open or closed. All right, we got oil, we got gas, we got a choke, we still need the cable, but we can make noise now. So without further ado, oh wow, this one's harder to pull over. Give it a little bit of gas. Right, and a little less. Right there. Oh yeah. You can definitely tell it's more thumpy than a 420 for sure. Oh, yeah.
Do we have gas? What the fuck? Alright, so on the right hand side we got the EasyGo TXT 420cc motor. On the left hand side, Club Car DS, we got 459cc Harbor Freight motor. 3, 2, 1, go!
It's running better now that it's got gas in it.
What?
So driving like you stole it. What do you think this is, must-see TV?
Dude, it hurts.
Nick gets on these things and beats the shit out of them.
Yeah, I know, but it hurts my back.
There we go. You sit on that pedal. Okay, so it's successfully reversed. Let me hear you light my fire. So you bought yourself a 420 and you're here, right? You just wish you bought the 459. Consensus, excuse me.
Yeah,
Same top mile an hour,
Yeah,
just more torque.
more torque.
Just get there a little bit quicker.
And then, well, I mean, this thing climbing hills with 25% throttle like that. And it's just low end torque.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good if you want to run around the farm and work for sure. Good platform for that. Also, like some trails would be a lot of fun with it.
So pricing, good for the price. The installation's not too bad.
No. Motor's 500. We looked it up earlier.
Yeah, it's what, $40 more than the 420.
Yep.
For
10% power for 40 bucks.
yeah. It just seems like it's happier than a 420 in one of these two. You know how like 420 seems like it's working harder.
Oh yeah.
This thing doesn't seem like it's working. It's more fitting. I would recommend doing the 459.
Purchase the 420.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Wonder what it would have been like in that Yamaha.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. We gotta find a Yamaha.
You gear this thing though, it'd be.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you put a set of gears in it, it would be real good. A set of gears or even just valve springs. A little more RPM out of it.
Closing statements.
No. Get yourself a 459.
Buy the big
better
one.
closing statements, something like. So here it's probably 35 minutes in this, but 35 minutes in this video. If you haven't subscribed, you're honestly a dick. Get off our channel. Never watch our videos again. Get out of here. Get.
Get.
Or if you subscribe, thanks guys. Really appreciate your subscription, and keep following Car Performance for more.
See, dude, I think you just put that over top of us zooming around on the thing. At the end of the video, dude. Boom, done.
Ending notes.
We're done. Woo!
Just wanted to put in perspective of how slick this actually is. Look at.
I liked it better when you shot the tires sideways and slid down. I want you guys to stay in your vehicles at all times before you hit me one more time.